Welcome to Nasscom IIMB Leadership Resource Centre. I am Vasanthi Srinivasan, Professor in the Organizational Behavior and Human Resource Management area in the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and the anchor for the Nasscom IIMB Leadership Resource Centre. The philosophy behind the design of the Leadership Resource Centre is about providing leaders an opportunity to do continuous and lifelong learning for professional growth and development. The idea for the Leadership Resource Centre emerged out of a research that we had conducted in collaboration with Nasscom to identify what are the future-ready leadership competencies in the age of digital disruption. This study was conducted in 2016 with participation in discovery workshops by leaders from small, medium and large companies in the IT sector. What emerged out of the study were 5 big challenges that confront leaders who operate in the current context. The first was the accelerated rate of change. The second was the changing regulatory context, both local and global. The third was the emergence of new, varied, disruptive technologies which could fundamentally alter the nature in which business is run. Fourth, demographic shifts that are happening both within organization and in societies. And last but not the least, changing customer needs, orientations and preferences. All of these come together in ways that leaders are unable to make sense of. One of the interesting insights that we gained from the study was that there were significant differences in how leaders engaged with the context depending on the size of the organization. The manner in which founders and entrepreneurs of small and medium businesses engaged with these disruptive trends appeared to be slightly different from the manner in which large corporations and professional leaders engaged with them. Therefore, arising out of these differences and also the patterns relating to the manner in which leaders engaged with the context, 4 distinctive future-ready competencies emerged. The first was the manner in which leaders would require to sense the context. So, sensing as a leadership capability. The second future-ready competencies for leaders is around framing the agenda and managing change both internally and across external stakeholders. The third dimension was agility in thinking and decision making. The fourth dimension was about how leaders manage heuristics to lead their businesses without letting biases cloud their judgment. As you can see, all the 4 competencies are relatively nuanced, subtle, and as I speak to you today, there are no formulaic, known ways of enabling leaders to acquire these capabilities. As a part of the Leadership Resource Centre, our attempt will be through both online and offline, curate, build, develop content that would allow us to build these capabilities among leaders. As we did the different discovery workshops across cities, one of the things that consistently emerged was how participants asked us if we could help with curating content around business as usual competencies. During the course of the discovery workshops, a number of participants requested if, as a part of LRC, we could curate content that would enable them in the here and now, which is really around how to effectively manage business as usual. It was also insightful that several participants said that they would value content thematically that is developed, which they could on a daily basis be access and learn more about. So in a way, the design of the Leadership Resource Centre is anchored around what we heard from the participants, what we listened to during the workshops, And above all, based on the work that we have done with other organizations in other sectors, our sense of what the future-ready leaders are likely to require. What are the design principles that we followed in the construction of LRC? Adult learning is likely to be problem-centered and need-based, and therefore curation of content will be thematic. Similarly, we have a space in the LRC to ask an expert, and we will actually have a group of experts who will respond to the queries that are raised by the participant learners. The second principle, that adults learn in peer contexts through observation and reflection. Keeping this in mind, we have a discussion forum where we expect that leaders and participants would share their ideas, problems, issues, challenges, and the way in which they have actually managed it. Along with this, we also have series where leaders with prior experience on many of these areas will actually share their insights and reflections on how they went about it. Now, this will also offer an opportunity for the LRC participants to learn and observe and find solutions for their unique challenges. The third philosophical principle in the design of LRC is that adult learners learn through assessment and feedback. Therefore, as a part of the curation, we have made sure that there are two kinds of assessment, a self-assessment and an organizational assessment. The final design principle is that all learning is emergent and context-based. Therefore, there will be topics that we will identify that are contemporary, which leaders will need to focus on and learn. There will be three kinds of content available through LRC. The first is what we call as the online curated content. This is content that exists around different themes on the internet. Many of us have had this experience of wanting to know a little more on a topic and ending up spending about an hour and yet not satisfied with what we have got. For those of you who are interested in knowing a little bit more around a theme, what we have done is curated existing content that is available in the public source and pulled them together thematically for you. The second kind of content, again online, is original curated content. And this content will come from two primary sources. First, it will come from the faculty at the IIM Bangalore, who will actually curate exclusive content for LRC members. The second kind of content will come from Nasscom member organizations, where organizations will share what they have done, which could actually be helpful for the other learners and participants. The third kind of content is offline content that will be delivered through workshops, both at the Indian Institute of Management Bangalore and in other cities, breakfast discussions, new research and ideas through seminars and workshops. So all of this together is what will go into building both the future-ready competencies as well as business as usual competencies. What I would urge you to do is basically three things. First, please don't hesitate to write to the LRC team if there is something that you have as valuable in your organization that you're willing to share with others. So please contribute to LRC. The second is about look at the portal and make sure that the content that you require, if it's not available, again, please write to us and we are more than happy to curate content exclusively for you. The third And the most important one is, as you finish listening to this video, I'd like you to go to the navigation pane and take a look at what is available on the website. Happy learning on LRC. And finally, as Isaac Asimov said, self-education is, I firmly believe, the only kind of education there is.